The word of God we are going to meditate today is that awake and pray so that you would not be misled or you would not be distracted. So that's why we sung the song. At my prayer time, Lord, I come to your presence and you lead me, Lord. So God is saying it, awake and pray so that you would not be misled, you would not get distracted. So your life, it feels like you are settled and you have reached everything what you wanted in your life. You have done all the hard work, you have earned all what you need in order to enjoy your life. Maybe if you look like a retired professionals or retired personals, so they have earned very hard, and at one point they have a guarantee. They have earned good money for their future. They have settled all their children, and they have also earned money for their children to enjoy. And their life is in very comfort zone, and they don't have to bother about anything because everything is arranged. But God is saying it, awake and pray so that you would not be misled. And another thing, maybe you have reached all your career aspirations. And so, what you wanted to become, you have become such a person. Where you wanted to reach after 5 years or 10 years, you have reached. And what you wanted to have in your life after certain years, you have got everything. It feels like you are on track. So what you ambitioned, what you envisioned in your career, everything is going on track. But God is saying it, awake and pray so that you would not be misled. And the same way, maybe you are a great person. You have a very good wisdom you have earned in this world. And you can teach others how to live a life. And you can teach your life lessons to others that will help many people to live a perfect life. You would become such a wise person. You have gained such wisdom in your lifetime. And somebody said one of the greatest speech. He was selected as a first prize winner for his speech, and that person was saying it. I was useless, and I didn't know what to do. I have done all the nonsense things in my life, and I met somebody who is a friend of his father, and that person said, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. So let's work together and let's try to find out, what is that something hidden in you. And this kind of speech really motivates other people. Maybe you are such a person. You could motivate many people in your lifetime. You have gained a lot of wisdom. And God is saying it, awake and pray so that you would not be misled. Sometimes you are going through fearful moments in your life. You have all the courage to do something what you wanted to do, but when you try to do, then the fear overcomes you. You don't know how to handle it, and the fear stops you from doing it. You know you can do it, but still the fear always overcomes your courage, and you cannot do anything. So God is saying it, awake and pray so that you would not be misled. And at times in our life, we really do not know why things are happening only for me. At my age or at my level, everyone who are similar to me, they are all enjoying the life and God has blessed them abundantly. But only my life is not going in right direction. And why God is allowing such pain in my life. If you look at my status, if you look at my society, they are all same, or they are all more or less equal. But all of their life is going really good and smooth. But only for me, it's not going into the right direction. So am I not obedient to God? Am I not worshiping God? Why God is allowing such difficult path in my life? God is saying it, awake and pray, so that you would not be misled and you would not get distracted. You would not fall into a sin which will distract you away from God. So that's what we will continue meditate, how we can awaken, pray, why God is saying it in each and every times in our life. We'll see some reference from Bible, and then we will continue meditating it. Yeah, so as I was saying it, when life is going very smooth and we don't have anything to worry. So when we look at the life of David, when he was resting at his home, because he has fought against all his enemies, and there was nobody threatening to David. Now it's a time for David to settle in his house. Even he's getting older, and if he goes to fight, and sometimes even the enemies are trying to attack David, but he has built a very good army around him. Even without him, he had a very good people who can fight for David and for Israel, and they can win the battle. So now it's time for David to rest and relax at his house. We all know how David was suffering before he come to the kingdom. Every time he was running out, running for his life, and always asking God, always sticking into God's, and whatever happens, he always look upon God. But now it's a time for him to take rest, and he did not awake and pray. He did not seek God's presence the same way how he was doing all his career, all his time when he was threatened by people who are closer to him, and even his sons were against him. He was always looking at God, but now he stopped looking at God and he is just relaxing his life because he had a good army to fight for him. And the people have recognized he is a good king and he is the king suitable for ruling Israel. He has got a very good recognition. But at this time, he did not look into God, and he is looking at Bathsheba, the woman who is taking bath outside, and he is committing sin, and this sin will take him away from God, and so he is doing mistakes after mistakes in order to cover up the first sin. So that's what God is saying it. When your life is going very smooth and happy, and you don't have any other challenges, you feel everything is set right, and this is a time for you to relax. God is telling it, you have to awake and pray because your spirit is stronger, but your flesh is weaker. And you think you would not do such a things. Even David would not have thought to commit a sin to lay with somebody else's wife. He never would have imagined it, since he did not awake and pray, and he was fallen into sin. So another testimony which I have shared in this list. So one of the young lady who was giving a testimony, like she had set her career on track. Like she's from India. She wanted to study in United States. She wanted to pursue her career and master degree in United States, and afterwards she wanted to find a right life partner who can take care of her, and afterwards she wanted to have as many number of children as she wanted, and then she wanted to live a luxurious life. She wanted to have a particular branded car. So everything has been dreamed, and she was dreaming about her career, and everything is going on track. And so she's also feeling happy, and what she wanted to achieve in her career, she is reaching one after another, and she could reach United States for her master's study, and then she also found her life partner, a man of her dream at the age of 17. So she found him and she lived her life for him. And she was saying it, I sacrificed everything for him. Even I did not go to the church because he did not allow me to go and attend the church. Because I found my life partner who will take care of my entire life, who will be with me my entire time. So whatever I have ambitioned, like he is from very good settled family. He is a doctor, and he is also settled in United States, and his family status is also good. And now she can imagine, so whatever she wanted to do, it all will happen. And she lived her life entirely for him alone until 7 years when he broke up. When he broke up, she realized, I have reached all my career path on track. So I wanted to do my master's degree, I could able to do it, I could find my life partner, but here I was hoping it everything will go smoother afterwards. But now uh, she is stepping out of her track, and all her life was in pain for 7 years until she realized it is no longer true. What she wanted to achieve in her life doesn't happen. So that's why God is saying it, when everything happens on track. Lord, I wanted to have this one. I wanted to have settled in a different country. I have to go to a different country. I want to earn this much money. I want to have my children study in a good recognized schools. I want to have my family settled in a good place. Everything is going one after another on track. Why God is saying it, you have to awake and pray so that you would not be misled. So we never know what will happen. So what trap Satan is planting against us? We never know what will happen in between our track. When we don't awake and pray, we cannot expect the outcome. Like the lady who wasted 7 years. 7 years she did not even know she was wasting her time, and it's not going to help her. So the same way, when we are on track and we forget God and we go behind things what we wanted to achieve, and later when we look back, if we would not have spent time with the presence of God and pray in God's presence and ask Him to lead, even when we are stepping out of our track, when we go to the presence of God, when we ask God, and when we awake and pray, God will always take us into the right track. So, only thing what we need to do, we need to awake and pray. So, the same way, when we look at somebody else, like when we see this lady's life, and we can see somebody who is very fearful. When we look at the life of Peter, he was very courageous to do anything for Jesus. And he was saying it, Lord, even if the whole world denies you, even if every other disciples denied that they do not know you, I would take risk of my life. Even it is at the cost of my life, Lord, I would never deny you. I would always follow you. Even if I have to die along with you, I would ready to do that, Lord. And so that's how in our life we feel courageous. We can do everything. We know God is always with us. God is always helping us. And there is nothing that we cannot do. But when we try to do, the fear comes. And the fear makes us not, proceeding in the right direction, like Peter. And when Peter was following Jesus, when we look at when Jesus Christ was arrested, and every other disciples were scattered, but Peter still he was courageous to follow Jesus. He did not run away. He was just following behind the crowd, whereas there were no other disciples followed, but he was dared enough to follow Jesus. And he was sitting among the crowd and watching what they are going to do. And now the fear, starts when they declared Jesus Christ to be put into a death, and then somebody identified Peter, and you are also with him. Now his fear overcomes his courageous moment. That's what Jesus Christ was saying it when he took him before this incident happened. He asked him to awake and pray. Your spirit is strong, but your flesh is weaker. You cannot really rely on your flesh. When your flesh falls down, you never know. You think there is no such thing would happen in my life, but you cannot rely on your flesh. You should always improve your spirit. You should always be in the presence of God to to nurture your spirit. The spirit will never get tired, but your flesh, it will get tired. That's what Jesus Christ said before even the cock makes a noise, and you would deny me 3 times. The same way, he went with the courage. He went with all his boldness to follow Jesus. But after he knew Jesus was put into death, and then if they catch him, people will also put Peter into death. So then his fear starts, overcoming all his courageous actions in his life. So that's why God is saying it. We need to awake and pray. Sometimes we feel, nervous to do something. We know we can able to do it. By heart we know this is simple. I can easily do it, and we also take steps to make it happen. But when we are in action, then when we see something around us, then the fear overcomes us. So that's why we need to, pray, and we need to awake and pray. So whatever we wanted to do in our life, God will lead us, and God will help us to overcome all these fears in our life. So as I was saying it, you might be a wise person like Solomon. And even today, people who are Christians or non-Christians follow the wisdom of Solomon, how one should live a moral life, and how he should listen into his heart and into his wisdom, so that he will not be trapped into the darkness of the world. And he was considered as a very wise person, but the pride, it overwhelmed him. The pride killed all his faith in God. So even many people who follow Solomon's wisdom, they realize it. Yeah, so we should not, go away from God, and we should be fearful to God. At the same time, we should also keep our wisdom awake. But he did not awake and pray before God. That's why even such intelligent persons on earth, there was no one before him and after him. But he did not spend time in the presence of God and ask God to lead his life. When he was recognized as a greater, wiser person on earth, and it just it overpassed everything in his life. He did not recognize God in his life, the God who gave everything into him, everything to him. So that's why God is saying it. When you reach a higher level, when you reach a great level of recognition in your time on earth, sometimes the pride will destroy everything to ground level. When you do not awake and pray and ask God and His counseling in our life, so we think, so we have learned everything on this world, and we can just go and we can motivate many other people. But if we lose our own soul, if we do not spend time with God, so that's why we need to awake and pray. And at the last one, sometimes we really do not know why certain things are specifically happening to me. At my level, it's not happening to anyone. Maybe like everyone is enjoying their time, and everyone is spending their time with the family and friends. They do all things which make them feel the life is going good. But only for me, it's not going in the same direction. I feel it is difficult. So the same way Jesus Christ also felt when he was about to be crucified. Jesus Christ knew that he has to be crucified. He has to accept the rigorous pain, and he has to pass through his crucifixion. But still, he thought, like Moses or Elijah, still God can make a way for him. And instead of taking this cup, he asked God, Lord, if it is possible, just take this cup out of me. And then he surrenders himself. It's not by my will, Lord, but your will. Let your will happen in my life. So that's how sometimes God allows some difficulties in our life which do not happen to anybody else who are at the same level as we are, who are in the same society as we are, who are living along with us. But only we are experiencing difficulties, different challenges in our life. God is allowing such challenges to go through in our life, such pain to experience in our life. We feel, Lord, why only it is for me? And everyone have come to a different country like me, and everyone has done the same thing like me, and all of their life is settled, and it's really flourishing, Lord. It's they are really enjoying it, but only my life is not in that direction, Lord. I have a different pain in my life. Sometimes God allows to go through difficulties. Sometimes God allows you to experience the pain, so that He has different plans in your life. And when you reach the point, you will realize why God is allowing you to experience that pain, so that you can handle that point in time very easily. Or maybe God has different plans in your life. You will realize it later why God has allowed such things to happen in your life. So always we should not get nervous, we should not get tempered, but always we need to awake and pray. Even things which are happening to us do not happen to anybody else, who are similar to us. Just awake and pray, so that God's plan will be fulfilled. Like Jesus Christ, like if he would have been taken like Moses or Elijah, so they did not do real. They did not die in a natural way, and nobody knew how they died. God took them. So Jesus, that's how Jesus would have thought, Lord, instead of I have to go through this cup, I have to go through, I have to be handed over to the sinners, and they will do all the shameful things for me. Even I have healed them, I have, done a lot of things good for them, and I have to be in the hands of sinners. Would it be possible for you to take this cup away from me, Lord? That's how Jesus was praying, God, everything is possible for you. And would it be possible? And as Jesus has surrendered, so he always sit before God, and he was asking God, and he was awake, and he always prayed, so that God's will be fulfilled in the times of our happiness, in the times of our sorrow, in the times of our fears, in the times of the self sufficiency. In all the times, let's awake and pray, so that God's will be fulfilled in our life.